Hello everyone, welcome to the third class of the Sutra of the Merit and Virtue of the Past Vows of Medicine Master Vaidurya Light Tathagata. As usual, we'll begin with chanting the name of the Buddha. You will see in your screen in front of you, the one in white is in Sanskrit, and then we do English, and then we do Chinese. So I'm going to put my palms together and invite everyone to join me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo Sadanto Suchetoye Alahati Sanmiao Sanputo Che. Wu Shang Shen Shen Wei Miao Fa. 百千万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in a billion eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Hello everyone, welcome to the third class. Let's see who's joined us. We have 23 people right now. I guess it's actually 22 because my iPhone is on it as well. So there's CF Lee, there's Choi Chi, there's Clifford, there's David and May together. So I guess that's additional one. There's Jason Theo, there's Kiman, Kimanh. There's Leong Wai Shin. There's someone who's very mysterious by the only one alphabet, M. Just like, what's that movie? James Bond, M. Yeah. There's Melinda. There's Siu Siu, Susan, Tai Kim Sing, Tam, Tanji Peng, Yap. I think that's Miss Yap from Singapore. Yip Ching Yi, Yun Lai Chun, Yin. And then two with Chinese names, Chinese characters, which unfortunately I am not able to read. So welcome everyone. I thought of doing, okay, so before we get to the sutra, and before I forget, let's chant the name of Medicine Master Buddha 7 times. Namo, Namo quelling disasters, lengthening life, Medicine Master Buddha. 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 And finally, the last, number 7, Namo quelling disasters, lengthening life, Medicine Master Buddha. So Yap HH just sent me a message saying she's Yap from KL. So my bad, my mistake. So I was going to do a sound test to see if people could hear what I'm saying, but I guess with that, it's confirmed that everyone can hear me. So I thought today what we could do, instead of, my plan was to go through the sutra from the beginning, but I think it's more important for us to visit the practices outlined, the various practices outlined in the sutra, because it's kind of like, to me, it's the part of the sutra that makes you full. I guess if you go to a buffet where they have salads and starters and soups and bread that you eat before your main course, and then you have all your dishes for your main courses, and then finally you have your desserts. Instead of starting at the salads of the sutra, we're going straight for the meat and potatoes, or like Ramamsha likes to put it, the tofu and the broccoli. Okay, so today I thought we were going to go through the practice. And before we do that, there has been several questions brought up through our WhatsApp group. Fei Shan had 3 questions. She said, what are the conditions and requirements for those who wish to be reborn in the Eastern Pure Land? That's the first question. And the second question was she wanted to find out more about the Eastern Pure Land, the features and characteristics. And for that, Tan replied that it's similar to Amitabha's Western Pure Land, which is correct. It's very similar. They say the Marian virtues and the characteristics, the hallmarks of the Pure Lands are the same. Plus, we'll go into more detail when we get to that part of the sutra. And then she also said there must be some reason or purpose on why we recite the Medicine Master Buddha's name in the morning ceremony and Amitabha's name in the evening ceremony. Please comment on this or explain if there is a specific reason for this practice in the daily ceremonies. Yes, I will when we get to the practice part. And then Yap HH asks, what is the main purpose of reciting Medicine Master Buddha? I'm aware that during this pandemic period, it is very crucial for us to do so. May I know, is it true to say that we recite Medicine Master Buddha Sutra to give us a form of health protection? Yes, although I would say not just during this time. When we go through the sutra, you'll see that it is something that you want to uphold all the time, not just for times when like what we're going through right now. Yeah, so those are the questions that were brought up in the some of the questions that were brought up in the WhatsApp chat. So why practice? Okay, before we go to why practice, let me answer the question on chanting the names. Okay, morning, we chant Medicine Master Buddha. All right, and then in the afternoon, or rather at mealtime, when we do our meal offering, we chant Shakyamuni Buddha's name. All right, and in the evening ceremony, morning ceremony, the evening ceremony, we chant Amitabha's name. Now there was a comment that Shufu mentioned this in the CDTB recitation handbook. Let me show you the recitation handbook real quick. Okay, if you have the recitation handbook at home, single page. Oh, come on, move. Okay. In the beginning, what's going on? Okay, this is what you see. There's a preface to the essentials of morning and evening recitation. Shufu doesn't really say much about why we do in a morning ceremony, we chant Medicine Master Buddha and so on. But in this sutra, he does. Okay, and this is what Shufu has to say. He says at CDTB, we recite the name of Medicine Master Buddha in the morning and dedicate the merit to the Dharma protectors of the city, praying that they will be safe from disasters and will enjoy long life. So you are actually doing it for not just yourself, but the Dharma protectors of CDTV as well, because they also protect you. And then at noon, we recite Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha in order to repay the kindness of Shakyamuni Buddha, who taught the Dharma to us. Okay, let me copy and paste. And then in the evening, we recite the name of Amitabha Buddha, vying to be born in the land of ultimate bliss, where the three evil paths do not exist. In the Saha world, we are troubled and afflicted every day. But in the land of ultimate bliss and the Vaidurya land is Medicine Master Buddha's land, there is only happiness. The city of 10,000 Buddhas is a new way place, and we recite the names of 3 different Buddhas in the morning, at noon, and in the evening. In this respect, we differ from the way places in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, Vietnam, and other countries where they follow the Chinese Buddhist tradition, which is they only recite Amitabha's name all the time. So Shufu says, when left home people from other places visit CDTB, they think that we do everything wrong and do not understand the rules. So they think that at CDTB, we don't, we're not following the tradition. Shufu says that we do not claim that what we do at CDTB is correct. However, when we rise in the morning, so this Shufu explaining why. Shufu says when we rise in the morning, we should emulate the vows of Medicine Master Buddha who quells disasters and lengthens life. Okay, we should emulate the vows. Okay, this will give us the fresh, youthful energy of dawn and invigorating vitality like that of trees reviving after a drought or a spring bubbling forth from the ground. Okay, let me copy this. Let me mute someone. Okay. Okay, so you can see in front of your screen. So Shufu says in the morning, by chanting Medicine Master Buddha's name and be mindful of his vows, this gives us the fresh, youthful energy of dawn. Okay, and because he says when we rise at dawn, the fire of our life burns brightly and everything is auspicious. What does this mean? Well, I heard before that one of the reasons monks and nuns, we do our morning ceremonies at 4 a.m. is because of the body has a natural cycle, and at 4 a.m. your chi is at its highest point. And when I was at GCDR, we had I met someone many years ago. His name was, I think, John Spiro. John Spiro was very much into the Shurangama mantra and the Shurangama Sutra. And if I'm not mistaken, he told me that he did some research before, and in the olden days, I'm not sure how old before, but monks in the celibate monks in the Christian tradition, there's the one that do the chanting, Gregorian, the ones that do Gregorian chanting, they, through trial and error, found out that 4 o'clock was the best time for them to hold their morning service as well. Because they, as celibate practitioners, you sometimes can get really sensitive and in tune with the energies in the body. And they found that because when you do chanting, you especially like the ones that in the Gregorian style, you learn how to use your dantian, which is the spot just below and behind your belly button, your navel, and that really activates and moves the chi around. Okay, so that's what Shufu says. I'm not sure what Shufu is referring to that, but he says in the morning, the fire of our life burns brightly and everything is auspicious. Then at noon, we should be grateful to Shakyamuni Buddha for all the Dharma and sutras that he taught us. And then at night, our thoughts return to the land of ultimate bliss, the final haven where we wish to be reborn. Okay, does that answer your question about the Pure Land? All right. And also, Shufu says that if you are mindful of Medicine Master Buddha, he will bestow blessings and long life upon you and save you from disasters, illnesses, and offenses. So that's why we practice Medicine Master Buddha in the morning. Okay. And an interesting anecdote also from Shufu is that he said when Shakyamuni Buddha attained Buddhahood, and he was sitting under the tree, he was contemplating us, all the living beings in the Saha world. And he found, and this is very interesting, he found that we all have the deepest affinities with 2 Buddhas. Anyone want to guess who these 2 Buddhas are? You can either chat, or Tan Ji Ping has his or her hand raised. Yes?
Pastor Amitofo.
Amitofo.
On this part, Pastor I was telling that on the morning handbook recitation of Pastor.
Yes.
Actually, I was at this part on the morning recitation. There is a part where Sufu said on the morning recitation part, like the second part. Here, there it says that as a mean, the next one is the recitation of Buddha's name. So
Okay.
in this part, Sufu said, in the recitation of one Buddha's name, the
Yes.
names of all Buddhas are implied.
Ah, yes, he did say that.
Mutual inclusion of
Yes.
the one with the many and the perfect fusion between self and others. So we were discussing about whether Amitabha Buddha or Medicine Buddha, east or west, where to go. So this is the part Sufu gives the answer I'm thinking now.
Okay, I'm trying to look for, yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm looking for it here. There you go. Let me see if I can make this. How do I make this fit visible? Oh, where'd it go? Okay, excuse my scrolling. I know it's very hard on the eyes. Okay, there you go. Shufu says, as a means to attain actual certification, we next recite the Buddha's name. In the recitation of one Buddha's name, the names of all Buddhas are implied because of the mutual inclusion of the one with the many and the perfect fusion between self and others. All right. Okay. So anyone has any answers to why, okay, let me rephrase that. Anyone has any answers to my question about when Shakyamuni Buddha contemplated who the two Buddhas who have the deepest affinities with us in the Saha world? Okay, from Feishan.
And Amitabha Buddha.
Yes, very good. Yeah, yeah, which brings rise to another question that I had, which is how come he's not there? Shakyamuni Buddha. Maybe he's number 3. Yeah, but I guess number 1 and number 2, given what we know right now, seems to be Amitabha Buddha and then Medicine Master Buddha. Another interesting anecdote is that in the past, in the 6th, I believe maybe the 5th to 8th centuries, and so on, Medicine Master Buddha was really popular in China. And the Dunhuang caves in China that has all the old drawings of the cave drawings has a lot of images of Medicine Master Buddha there and his PLN. Okay. All right. So let us go back to the practice. Okay, let me copy, paste here. Okay, types of practice. Okay, I'm going to open up the sutra after we finish this list, and then we can read it together. But as a summary, the different types of practice outlined in the sutra are mantra, Medicine Master Buddha's mantra. The second one is reciting and upholding the name of Medicine Master Buddha. The third one is making offerings of flowers, incense, music, lamps before an image of Medicine Master Buddha. The fourth one is writing out the sutra or asking other people to write it out, and then constantly reciting it single-mindedly. And then number 5 is listening to the sutra being taught by a monk or a nun and making offerings. Number 6 is special. Okay, so and then the sutra has these 5 main forms of practice. And then later in the sutra, it has special practices for that are more specific in its benefits. Yeah, if you have certain things that you would like to achieve, you can do those practices. And those we will come to when we come to that part in the sutra. And then there's also meditation and visualization that is very, very popular with Medicine Master Buddha. That's not covered in this sutra. Those are covered in other texts, especially Tibetan texts. And then another way of practice in Medicine Master Buddha comes from the Sutra on the merits of the fundamental vows of the 7 Buddhas of Lapi Lazuli Radiance, the Masters of Healing. So what has happened some background to number 8 is that there is a sutra where Medicine Master Buddha is kind of like he's divided up into 8 different Buddhas, and he is listed as Buddha number 8. And then all those Buddhas, they make vows too. And Shakyamuni Buddha explains all the different vows that they make. And they have this mantra which all the Buddhas speak at the same time. And I'll read out an excerpt of the sutra. And this is Shakyamuni Buddha speaking. So I'm putting my palms together. It says, O Manjushri, there is a great spiritual formula or mantra named Lapis Lazuli Radiance, Force of the Samadhi of the Tathagatas. If there are any sons or daughters who write it out, who read and recite it, who reverently offer puja to it in worship, who generate the mind of great compassion towards all sentient beings, then all their desires will be fulfilled. The various Buddhas will manifest their forms and will hold them to their protective thoughts. They will be separated from all the obstructions and afflictions, and they will be reborn in the Buddha realm or in a pure land. So that's why I included in here. And based on how the classes on the sutra goes, if we have time at the end, not this class, but at the end of the sutra, and people are interested, we can delve into other texts that are related, because it's a very, very interesting appendix or add-on to what we are learning. Okay, let me see. On the chat box, what pages is this commentary on? This commentary, if Jennifer, if you are referring to the sutra, is on page, I'm not sure about the commentary, but the mantra is on page 12. And let me show you. Medicine Master Buddha, page 12. Let me go one page back. Let me increase the size. Okay. Let me go to the end of the page. Okay, if you look at the bottom of the page, this is what I'm going to recite. Let me look at what other questions we have. So Lynn is asking everyone, isn't Shakyamuni Buddha the host of this Sahavo? That's really good. Yes, he is. Actually, we are in a Pure Land right now. We are in Shakyamuni Buddha's Pure Land, and he is the host. Why? If anyone has any questions about why are we in the Pure Land of Shakyamuni Buddha, but we don't understand that, you are in the same boat as Shariputra, and this is outlined in the Lotus Sutra. And we'll come to that as when we reach that part of the sutra. Ron from San Jose has, oh, he lost his audio. Hope you get your audio back. Felicia, yes, you have your hand up. Do you want to share your story? Felicia has a story about Medicine Master Buddha.
No. Just now I saw Jing Rose say she didn't get the audio. So as for me, the recording was rattling sound, so I couldn't hear. And I logged out and I logged in again. So I was trying to tell Jing Rose the what I did. So I was pressing here and there. So sorry. Now I couldn't get rid of that.
Okay. All right. I've lowered your hand for you already. Felicia, do you want to share your story since you are talking to all of us?
Okay. I just want to share this story that I knew of this person, one person who have met the Medicine Master Buddha before. She works in the temple, and this temple is
it Ten Pian Temple?
No, not Ten Pian. It's called Iwantan in Kuala Lumpur. It's quite a big space. It got the Guan Yin Hall in front, and then they got the old folks home, and then behind is the Sam Bo Din, and behind that is the Sutra center. That means it's the library, but it's not open to people. And this lady, she's in charge of the Guan Yin Hall. Once she was ill, and then after some time, she recovered. And when she recovered, she told me that medicine master visited her, and then with the pagoda on the hand, so he spun the pagoda, that means make it turn round and round. And after that, he took out the medicine from there and gave her. And when she ate the medicine, she recovered. So this one person who have seen the Buddha. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. This is the first medicine master Buddha story I've heard. If anyone has any more stories, please let me know. It will be very interesting because you usually hear stories about people and Amitabha Buddha or Kuan Yin菩薩, or Earth-Store Bodhisattva, but never medicine master Buddha. So that Ming Ting Shi, I understand your mic was unmuted just now. Do you have something you wanted to share or say? Okay, if you do, please let us know. Okay, so Yap HH has a question. Can I know, is it that we can't copy the sutra and we can't dispose it freely after chanting or whatsoever? This is only for my knowledge. Well, it is kind of related to the meeting. You can write out the sutra. In fact, the sutra encourages you to write it out, to copy it by hand. But what we do not do is we do not throw it away after we have finished. I guess to understand what that's trying to mean, imagine someone who, where paper is really hard to come by, like in the old times. It's not like now where you can just grab paper from almost anywhere. Paper is really hard to come by, and ink, and to write a copy of a sutra a written copy of a sutra becomes really, really precious, especially if you understand that through that sutra, you can actually end your own suffering or go to the Pure Land. The instructions are all there. So the sutra becomes really precious, more precious than anything in this world. And someone like that who's really sincere will never be casual with the sutra. They will, depending on the culture that they come from, some cultures, they would understand never to place a sutra below the waist, because why? That would be disrespectful. They would never place a sutra on a surface that's dirty. And if their hands are dirty, they will wash their hands, clean their hands before they touch the sutra. So the advice to treat the sutra respectfully comes from there. So for us, like we have people who come to Berkeley Buddhist Monastery and they are not Buddhists. And sometimes they take a sutra or a book and they place it on where we put our shoes. Sometimes they place it on the ground, on the floor. It's important to note that because they are not intentionally being disrespectful, they just don't understand. They just they're still new. They're not through the door yet. But for us we've kind of understood a bit more and we have the sutra in front of us, we should instead of looking at it as being restrictive, what I do usually is I ask myself, how come I'm not as respectful or I don't understand it in the way that I'm supposed to? And then you use it to turn inside and look at yourself. All right, I hope that's helpful. I'm going to recite the sutra now, as you see in front of you. At that time, the world-honored one entered a samadhi called extinguishing the suffering and distress of all beings. After he entered this samadhi, a great light came forth from his flesh cowl. From amid that light, he proclaimed this magnificent dharani. Next page. Oh. Next page. Okay. Highlight it. Namo poche fadi bishasha jilu biludi bolapo halashaye latau chetoye allahadi sanmya samputo che danchitanan bisasha samajari soha. After he had spoken the mantra from amid the light, the earth trembled and emitted great light. All beings' sicknesses and sufferings were cast off, and they felt peaceful and happy. Okay, let me scroll. Okay. Manjushri, if you see a man or a woman who is ill, you should single-mindedly and frequently clean and bathe him and rinse his or her mouth. Provide him with food, medicine, or water that is free of insects, over any of which the dharani has been recited 108 times. After the sick person has taken it, all his sicknesses and sufferings will be gone. If this person has a wish, he should recite this mantra with utmost sincerity. Then he will obtain whatever he wished for, and his life will be prolonged and free from illness. At the end of his life, he will be reborn in that Buddha's land. He will become irreversible and will ultimately attain Bodhi. Therefore, Manjushri, if they are men and women who, with utmost sincerity, diligently worship and make offerings to Medicine Master Vaidurya like Tathagata, okay, I'll pause and scroll. They should always recite this mantra and never forget it. Moreover, Manjushri, men or women of pure faith, who have heard all the names of Medicine Master Vaidurya like Tathagata, one of proper and equal enlightenment, should recite and uphold them. In the early morning, after brushing their teeth and bathing, they should make offerings of fragrant flowers, incense, perfume balms, and various kinds of music before an image of that Buddha. They should personally write out this. Okay, on the top. They should personally write out this sutra or ask others to do so, and they should single-mindedly and constantly recite it. If they listen to explanations of its meanings from a Dharma master, they should make offerings to him of all necessities, so that he is without the slightest one. In this way, they will receive the mindful protection of the Buddhas. All of their wishes will be fulfilled, and they will ultimately attain Bodhi. Okay, and then we'll just read the next paragraph. At that time, the pure youth Manjushri said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, I vow that in the Dharma image age, using various expedient means, I shall enable good men and women of pure faith to hear the name of the world-honored one, Medicine Master Vaidurya like Tathagata. Even during their sleep, I will awaken them with this Buddha's name." Yeah, I always laugh when I read that line. Okay. Starting from the top. Well, honored one, there may be those who accept and uphold this sutra, read and recite it, explain its meanings for others, write it out themselves, or tell others to write it out. They may revere it by making offerings of various flowers, paste incense, powdered incense, stick incense, flower garlands, necklaces, banners, canopies, and music. They may make bags of 5-colored thread in which to keep the sutra. They may sweep clean a place and arrange a high altar on which to place the sutra. At that time, the 4 heavenly kings with their retinues and other innumerable hundreds of thousands of gods will come to that place to worship and protect it. Okay, how about that? Pretty good, right? Anyone has any questions while I go get my other notes? Okay, this is what Shufu has to say about the mantra. No. Okay. Okay. Shufu in his commentary says, if you recite this very short mantra faithfully and single-mindedly, what does single-mindedly mean? It means that, okay, sorry, this is my own comments. This is not what Shufu said. Single-mindedly, as how I understand it, it means that when you are reciting, you're not thinking about other things, like wanting to eat your lunch or your dinner, or how long this is going to take, or how long it has been. Are you tired, or you want to watch TV or something? You don't have those thoughts coming through. So single-minded or being sincere. You will find that it has infinitely many wonderful functions. A doctor can use this mantra to enable his patients to have a speedy recovery. With the mantra's help, he can become an extremely good doctor. Everyone, whether you are a doctor or not, should recite this mantra. If you recite it on behalf of sick people, they will soon get well. Okay, from Daniel at CDTV to everyone, can they see the mantra again? I'm going to put it in the chat box. All right. Okay, so if you want the mantra, it's in the chat box. And if you are part of the WhatsApp group, I'm going to share it on the WhatsApp group as well. Okay, and then Shuf also says that mantras are sounds that cannot be explained. You are not supposed to understand what it means. So you just recite it. Okay, I'll put it up on screen again. Mantra, copy. Okay, there you go. I've also a recording of the mantra being recited 7 times that if you are in the WhatsApp group, which is called Dharma 101 Discussions, you go to the top and you select the, how do I do this? You go to the top, you press group info, and there's a link called media, links, and documents. And I have an audio recording of both recitation of Medicine Master Buddha's name, the praise that we do in the morning ceremony to Medicine Master Buddha, as well as a 7-time recitation of the mantra. Okay.
Dharma Master?
Yes?
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Amitabha.
This is Jennifer.
Yes, hi. Dharma Master Huns's lecture, she talks about the Shurangama mantra, and there was one time she said that it was also a commentary by Master Hua. He said that mantras all have or maybe he was just talking about the Shurangama mantra, but he said that all mantras, like that mantra had a meaning, like all the lines had a meaning, and that's why we were going through the mantra line by line, and that we should and that's why like we recite it, because there are different meanings to each part of the mantra. Does that apply here? Or?
Yes, that's true. For example, the Tape Chou, Shufu has also said you don't need to know the meaning to practice the mantra, but at the same time, Shufu also wrote verses that accompanied every line of the mantra to explain the mantra too. We do know that like in the Shurangama mantra, a lot of the syllables in the mantras are actually names of a lot of people. And the Shurangama mantra has been translated as well. So I think taken in the context of when Shufu gives commentaries, you have to take it in the context of the time, the place, and the people where the commentary was given. So I guess I can't guess what Shufu, why Shufu said that a mantra sounds that cannot be explained at that time, but that was the commentary that we had from Shufu in this sutra. But at other places, Shufu says it very, very differently. Yeah. So we do have Shufu did explain some of the meanings of the sounds in the Shurangama mantra, and of the Great Compassion mantra, the Tape Chou as well. Yeah. Thanks for that. But from a place of practice, if you are practicing it, you don't need it. You don't need to know what the sounds mean. You don't even have to, like the Sanskrit version. Let me get the Sanskrit version real quick. The Sanskrit version sounds very different. And it's like this. Okay, let me put the Sanskrit version on screen. Make some space so everyone can see. So this bottom part that I've highlighted is the Sanskrit version. Ignore the number 15 at the end. And this sounds really different. Yeah, but I like to think of it this way. Say for the names of the Yaksha general that you are calling out. It's just like someone in the crowd. If you know someone is calling you and they mispronounce your name, like my name is JinHe, but it's spelled Jin, JinHe, which I have to explain all the time because people who don't know me call me JinHe. But if I know that they're calling me and they're calling me JinHe, it doesn't make any difference. I still know that they're calling me. So I guess it works that way. And if you're using the mantra, especially to calm yourself down and for concentration, then you don't have to worry too much about it, or the actual, or to get like the pronunciation 100% right. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left. I forgot to introduce Felicia, who shared that story about meeting Medicine Master Buddha. Felicia is a MOM. What's an MOM? That was a term that was coined during the third Malaysian Buddha Farm, where my mother, okay, hint, MOM, my mother was there, and there were, let me see, Felicia, and is she online? No, she's not with us. And, oh, is it Karen? Please help me, someone. We had four mothers of monks.
Master is
Yes.
Is Sharon Chow.
Sharon, yes, Sharon. Yeah. Actually, not just monks, but mother of monastics. Yes, that's right. MOM, mothers of monastics. So we had two mothers whose daughters were nuns, and two mothers who had sons who were monks. And Felicia's son is at CDTB. Felicia, I've hardly talked to, I still know him by Chin Yangshe, his Sami name. What's his left home name now, Felicia? Oh, is Felicia with us? She might have left. Oh, Felicia's left. Okay. So I'm going to sign off with chanting the dedication of merit, which unfortunately we didn't get to do last time. Okay, I'm going to put my palms together. And eventually all this recording of the classes will be on YouTube once I figure out how to do it. If you want to join the WhatsApp group and get more details or more like copies of the Sutra and all that, please email me at jin.he@drbu.edu. Okay. All right, I'm going to put my palms together and do a dedication of merit. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you in 2 days' time. Amitofo.